Hello, welcome to my channel. So today we'll be reviewing a book that I have read and it blessed me. But I'm not going to be reading the whole part. I'm just going to be taking a particular chapter that rang a bell in my head, and that particular chapter we'll be taking. The book we'll be seeing today is the Gary Chapman book on marriage. So things I wish I had known before we got married. That's by Gary Chapman, the same author of The Five Love Languages. I don't know if that's a book. That's not a book. So let me not use the word author, but like I'm saying, the same. He's the one that brought about the five love languages. There was nothing like that before him. So he was the one that created it, and it has proven to be true. I learned a lot from this book and I highly recommend. But there's a particular chapter I want to focus on, and that's the chapter that spoke about the five apology languages. The five love languages that he mentioned, in case someone is new to this, in case you've not heard about it, is quality time, words of affirmation, receiving gifts, physical touch, and acts of service. Yeah. I also learned from Gary Chapman that you can be speaking your love languages to your partner, and the person does not understand the language. Why? That is not the love language. So let's give an instance. My love language, for instance, is quality time. And so chances are that I will speak my love language to someone. Why? Because that's what I know to speak. But the person might not even understand that I love the person if I speak that language. Do you know why? Their love languages might be acts of service. And so until I render acts of service, until I start serving in any capacity I can for them, they will not come to the understanding that I love them. And so from Gary Chapman, he explained how that you need to learn your partner's love language. And it made absolute sense to me. Seriously, it made so much sense to me, because somebody is saying, I love you, and then your love language is receiving gifts. So in your head, you're like, I've not seen what you've done for me. What are you saying you love me for? And so, but this person's own might be words of affirmation. And so this person is giving you the words of affirmation that he or she can give. But you are not getting it because you don't even understand. That is not your love language. So if your relationship or your marriage is going to thrive, I think it is paramount to also ask whosoever we are with what their love languages are. And then we learn to speak that love language. That being said, let me get into today's video. Today's video is not about love language. Today's video is about apology languages, and I want to talk about it. So yeah, please keep watching. Now, there are 5 types of apology languages according to him. So I'll just read out and then I'll summarize. Here is a brief summary of the 5 apology languages that we discovered in our research. Number 1, expressing regrets. Number 2, requesting for forgiveness. Okay, requesting forgiveness is how we put it. Number 3, making restitution. Number 4, genuinely expressing a desire to change your behavior. And number 5, accepting responsibility. So I would explain these 5, and that will be all for this video. So let me start from expressing regrets. I'm sorry may well be the first words in expressing this apology language. However, you need to tell the person what you're sorry for. The words I'm sorry spoken alone are much too general. For example, you might say, I'm sorry that I came an hour late. Makes sense to someone whose apology language is what? Expressing regrets. So you don't just come and say, oh, I'm so sorry. I hope that's fine. That will not be fine for people like that. And there are people like that. And then there is no problem with them because that is who they are. We'll learn to, at least we must learn to accept people for who they are. So if they say that, after you apologize to me, I want you to explain why this happened. That means that is their love language. So the first one is expressing regret, like I already said. And he said, instead of saying I'm sorry, you can come and say, I'm sorry that I came an hour late. That sounds exactly as if you're regretting that you came late to the person that you're apologizing to. I know you have been waiting for me so we could go to the movie. I realize that we have already missed the first 30 minutes and you probably don't want to go now. I feel bad that I did not pay more attention to the time. I got busy with work at the office. I can't blame anyone but myself. I feel like I let you down big time. If you have lost your temper and spoken harshly, you might say, I am sorry that I lost my temper and raised my voice. I know I came across very harsh and that I hurt you deeply. A husband should never talk that way to his wife. I feel like I have demeaned you. I can only imagine how hurt I would feel if you spoke to me in that way. You must be hurting deeply and I am sorry that I hurt you. This apology language is not an emotional language. It is seeking to express to the other person your emotional pain, that your words or behavior have hurt them deeply. If this is the apology language of the person you have offended, what they want to know is, do you understand how deeply your behavior has hurt me? Anything short of this kind of apology will seem empty to them. So for someone whose apology language is expressing regrets, if you say I'm sorry, it sounds as if you don't even know what they're going through. You sound as if you can't even understand. Like, how will you even get it when you offended them in the first place? It just goes to say that you don't even care. So to them, even if you apologize, it's not going to be fine. They might say okay, but deep down it is not fine yet. So you need to know who you are with. You need to know what language they understand when it comes to apologies. And so this is what it means. So apologize as if you apologize, basically as if you're regretting your actions. That's what you do. You're not just saying I'm sorry for courtesy, because the way you say I'm sorry, look as if you're saying it for courtesy purposes, just for the records. I apologized. No, in this case, you're apologizing and explaining how that you wished it had not turned out the way it turned out. The next is accepting responsibility. Now, without even explaining what this means, I'm sure you already know what this means. So you're apologizing and taking responsibility for the actions. I've seen cases where, maybe people were supposed to like go out together and one person didn't turn up and the person comes back to apologize, and the person also wanted the responsibility to say, I'm sorry I wasn't available, I was here and I wish I communicated to you earlier, maybe you would have gone without me, I'm sorry you had to wait for me only for you to say that I didn't come out. Now that is a proper apology. To someone whose apology language will be accepting responsibility. So you have taken the blame that, this was my fault. We both planned we were going to be going out and I didn't make it again. I was supposed to do something to make it up to you. I was supposed to tell you earlier. I was supposed to do something. So, but I'm sorry now. That is you taking responsibility. So, but for someone who does not, for someone who doesn't want to take responsibility, the person will just be like, oh, I'm sorry. Can we just go out another time? Can we fix like another date? And that's just the end. Like you didn't even take responsibility for not being able to be with this person at the time when you're going to be there. In your head, you're just basically trying to make it up to them. So you did not take responsibility for not being there. I don't know if you get me. Like you're saying I'm sorry, that's fine. So at the same time, you did not say it was your fault. You didn't own up to the scenario. You don't just say, oh, I'm sorry, and let's do something else. Let me make it up to you. Let me cover up for that. No, you first take responsibility, because if you don't, people like this whose apology language is accepting responsibility, they would feel like you're trying to bribe them out of your mistakes. They'll feel like, do you think they're a fool? Do you think they don't see what you did? Do you understand? For this category of people, what works for them is that you first let them know that you know that this was your fault and that you're sorry. Then you can then go ahead to make it up to them if you want to. Making it up to them is not really a priority. The priority is that you should let them know that you know that you're responsible for this. Either if you don't do that, they would feel like a fool. They'll feel like, what do you take me for? Do you think I don't see what you did? Do you understand? They'll like make a drama out of it. And you now, whose language is not accepting responsibility, you will think that they're making a big deal out of nothing, like a mountain out of a molehill. But really, they aren't. That is just their apology language. And they are trying to make you understand that you have not apologized until you take responsibility. So the next one is making restitution. And I'll just read from his book. But before I read, let me just throw a little example from the last example I gave. So you remember I said that for the one whose apology language is taking responsibility. If you just apologize and you try to make it up to them to say, okay, this has happened now, and what can we do about it? They just feel like you're cutting corners, you're trying to jump the process, you're not following due process, like you not even acknowledge that it was your fault and you're here trying to make it up to them. Okay, so they're kind of going to feel used, if that's the word. But for the one whose apology language is making restitution, when you apologize, okay, next thing they want to hear is, what are you going to do about the situation? What are you going to do about it now? What next, right? How do we solve this? So they're not interested in if you're the one responsible or not. They're not trying to like get you to explain the whole story of why what happened or how it happened, as they are interested in what you want to now do about the situation. That is the apology language. And let me just read what Gary Chapman said. Making restitution, number 3. This apology language seeks to make right. Let me take it again. This apology language seeks to make it right. One husband who forgot their wedding anniversary said, I know that I've really blown it. I can't believe I actually forgot our anniversary. What kind of husband is that? I know I can't undo what I have done, but I would like an opportunity to make it up to you. I want you to think about it and let me know what I could do to make things right with you. We can go anywhere or do anything full stop. you deserve the best and I want to give it to you. He has shown signs that okay, he's about to make it up to her, he's about to get whatever he had done wrongly right for the ones that he can correct, because sometimes some damages can be done that you cannot undo again. But at least you show interest in trying to say, okay, what can we do now? What can we do moving forward? What do you think would work for you? I'm interested and I want to make it up to you. That's what making restitution is. Now, if making restitution is his wife's primary apology language, you can bet she will have an idea of what he can do to make things right. For the person whose primary love apology language is making restitution, what they really want to know is, do you still love me? Your behavior seems so unloving to them that they wonder how you could love them and do what you did. Thus, what they request of you may well be in keeping with their love language. If their primary love language is physical touch, they may simply say to you, would you just hold me up? I can't say this one now. Well, you should get the book. So I'll just remove some parts, but then I'll read some other parts. If on the other hand, receiving gifts is their love language, they will likely request the gifts that they had wanted, which to them would genuinely express your love. If acts of service is their love language, they may say the greatest thing you could do to make it right with me is to clean out the garage. If quality time is their primary love language, they may well request a weekend away, just the two of you. The person for whom words of affirmation is their love language will ask you to verbally affirm your love. They may say, could you just write me a love letter and tell me why you love me and how much you love me? To them, words speak louder than actions. Well, this is what he wrote for making restitution, but I already explained, how that is and how it works. So you don't just apologize, you come to make it up to the person in whichever way. And if you don't know how to go about it, you can also ask the person, I'm sorry and everything, I'm trying to do my best. So what do you think I should do? What worked for you now? What has, and how do you think we should go about it? And so if that is the person's love language, it will work. Let me use family as an example as well. If you see with your parents and then you do something wrong, I feel like the apology language that works for parents the most, the apology language that works for them in adulthood stage, like me as an adult, I think it is making restitution. Really, as a child, you can't make restitution. Everybody knows that a child is limited and cannot make restitution, and so your parents will not demand that you make restitution as a child. What will work for a child apologizing to a parent is accepting responsibility. Most parents get pissed off more when a child tries to push the blame and say, it was my brother, mommy, it's my sister. That is now when the parent will get mad more, because at that point they feel like you are not taking responsibility, or maybe they even feel like you're trying to lie, even though it's not your fault. Because they were not there, they don't even want you to push blames at that time. Just own up, say you're sorry, take responsibility, and that is all. Don't try to make restitution as a child. When I say child, I mean like 16 below. Don't try to take responsibility. They already know that you can't do this, it's like beyond you, and that's fine. Once you apologize and you take responsibility, Nigerian parents are fine. That would work for a parent in Nigeria, right? But for those above 18, now you're an adult, and when you do something in the house, not assuming you break a plate, what will work is to replace that broken plate. That's what will work. Don't even stress yourself. That's what will work. Because even if you take responsibility, they still feel like you are so big. Why will you break a plate? Like at your age, that's something that we will do, and our parents will think we are too big to do those kind of things. So they don't even want you to like take responsibility, because you will still come off as irresponsible to them. For example, if you break a plate, like a glassware in your house, and your parents come back and you say you did it and you take responsibility to say, I'm very sorry, I did this, it happened, they might tell you okay, but somehow in their head there's someone telling them this child is irresponsible. How old are you right now that you're still breaking plates in the house? So that's why I said it varies for different age brackets. If you're above 18, what will work is for you to make restitution. So let me assume you broke a plate while washing, or a glassware got broken in your hands. What you just do is to go out and buy another one. When you buy another one and come back, it may not be the same quality. The one at home might be way, way more expensive than the one you bought. But if you come back with an apology note to say, I'm very sorry, I bought this to replace the one I broke. So sorry, I didn't know how it happened. It slipped off my hand and it fell down and blah, 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 blah. That apology will work for your parents, because, okay, in their head now, you are responsible enough. That was really a mistake. And that's why you took extra mile to, make an effort to replace it, even though it is not exactly what was missing, even though it is not exactly the same glassware that you replaced. At least you are responsible enough to make a move. So that kind of apology language will work for African parents, making restitution as an adult. If you are a child and as an adult, if you are that child that is an adult, that would work for them. But if you are below and you go and make restitution, if you are like 13 and you go to make restitution before you go to apologize to your parents, it can come off as rude to them, because to them you are small, you're not supposed to be able to afford that thing. How are you able to buy the glassware that you broke in the first place? How are you able to afford it? Even though they give you money and they expect you to have money and savings from your pocket money, they don't expect you to go outrightly to replace it, because it will look like, are you trying to buy us? Like, are you trying to pay us off that we should not correct you, or we should not scold you, or are you trying to make us not spank you by bribing us with this thing you went to buy? Why am I painting this scenario? I want you to see that different apology methods works for different category of people. It also applies to your circle, your girlfriends, your boyfriends. When I say girlfriends, I mean girls and girls, like same-sex friendship. Your girls, your sisters, your aunties, your uncle in the office, your bosses, your superiors, your mentees, your mentors, your coach. Different method of apology languages will work for them. It is not same. So, but if it is for you to know which one applies, which one work for them. So for children under the age of 16, 15, 14, just take responsibility is fine. I'm sorry, and then you take responsibility. That should work for your parents. That's fine. So, but if you're above, there is no responsibility you want to take. You still come off as irresponsible, because you're already above the age where they believe you should be responsible at this point. So anything you do most likely will be linked to you being irresponsible, unless you make restitution. So yeah, so I've said 3. Number 1, I want you to guess. I'm not checking the book. I want you to guess. Let me see who and who is following. So just guess the 3 apology languages I've mentioned. Well, I'll take it again. I'll take it from the end. Making restitution, expressing regret, and accepting responsibility. I think expressing regret will work more for friendships, like normal friendships, like imagine me apologizing to my fellow friend as a girl. I think expressing regret will work for her, because I might not need to make restitution for her, because she might not. Anyway, finally, it's not even about the person to work for, right? It's about how this person understands apology. Yeah. But the funny thing is this: different people understand apology from different people in different ways. And let me give an example of that. So I have a younger sister. So if my sister should offend me right now, I will not expect her to make restitutions, because she's small. She's barely 13. So I won't expect her to be able to make restitution. Then as if she broke my glass of perfume, I won't expect her to make restitution. There's no way on earth I would expect her to be able to afford that, even if she has savings somewhere, right? And if she does try to, make restitution without my awareness, and then she comes back to me to say, "Oh, Aunt, I'm sorry, I've replaced it," I'll still feel bad. I'll feel bad, and I will feel bad, because I'll feel like, why are you making me stress you? Because you just made me stress you right now. You made me make you spend money that I know you don't have, right? On something you didn't have to do, but your carelessness made you do it. So I'm still going to be angry either ways. I'm going to be angry because she's not making me feel bad for making her spend money. I want to know, how do you have money that you're paying for me? Is that I will still punish her regardless, and I will still give her money back, right? And I will still let her go through the punishment for whatever things that she did. So she cannot make restitutions to me. It won't work. I will make sure she serve her punishment, and I will still, give her back the money if she wants to restitute to me, or if she had already done that, I will make sure she gets her money back. But she has to, because in my head, I feel I am trying to train her, right? I'm trying to train her that this is not the way things are done. Don't do this. So I need her to learn through the way of training. No, restitution is not training. Yes. So now this is me now saying that apology language will work for me with my younger ones. But if it was with my partner, like in a relationship or in marriage, if I were married, I'm not married now anyway, but like if I were married, my apology language, making restitution, might work for me. I'm not so big on making restitution anyway as a person. I am more big on explaining why. Explaining to me, like, I want to know, why did this happen? Yes, you're sorry, okay, so, but can you fill me in? How did this happen? Don't just say you're sorry and that's just it. There's nothing for me to hold on to. I am only out for knowledge. Okay, let's calculate, let's see. How did you get here? How did this happen? So I won't expect that for my younger ones. If they do something wrong, I don't have to just say, take responsibility, don't lie, and that is one. I'll tell you, okay, don't worry, go, you can go, you're sorry, it's fine. I'm not even ready to know how it happened or how it didn't happen, right? And that's the end. But that won't be the same thing in my marriage. That's not the same thing I will demand from my partner. I would rather demand to get an explanation as to why happened, like why whatever happened that happened. That language is accepting responsibility. So you're saying, this is why this happened, I was doing this when this happened. And so when you do that to me, it will work, right? For my girlfriends, I think I would just say, expressing regret will work for me, for my fellow girlfriends. And then for making restitution, where I will demand that restitutions be made is like from a total stranger. For instance, I go to make my hair and the braider did not braid it properly. I want her to make restitution. Don't just take my money and tell me you're sorry, and that's the end. Yeah, there are times when I can overlook it. Like if you're a young brother, maybe you're working for your boss, you know the salon. I can consider to say, okay, I don't want this person to incur more costs. I can just let it slide. So, but in the case where you're the owner of the business and I consider that you did not do your business up to what you said you do, or what you claim to do, or what your cost reveals that you can do, I want you to make restitution. In the case where it costs me especially money, I think I would want restrictions to be made. Not in my relationship. If it was, like I said earlier, a partner that did whatever happened, and I will not demand restriction because I can let it go from the end of love, right? I can just forgo it and let it go. It won't be that important. As long as you have apologized and you've explained why, that is fine for me. I said this to say that different situations demand different apology language. So there's no one person with one particular kind of apology language, so to say. They demand differently from different people. So it depends on who you are to them and what you feel like they would demand from you. And you can know what they demand from you by what they normally give to you. So for instance, in my office I have a 9 to 5. When I think I render a service to a client that is below the standard that I'm expected to function or to render, I normally make restitutions. That's where I have been. And nobody asked me to do this. It's just my default thing to do, just like a default reaction to me. I remember there was a particular time I was to issue a customer a card, and I don't know what happened, but something happened. I had a mistake somewhere. Now the card cost about 1,000 something. I think 1,175 naira. That's the card cost. And I told the customer that okay, I'm going to have this money sent to your account in a moment while I issue you another card. So I'm probably like taking the cost upon myself. I had apologized, of course, but there's some people who just apologize. Oh, sir, I'm so sorry. This was a mistake. I'm so sorry. I don't know how it happened. Please don't worry. We promise next time it's going to be fine. And they don't make any restitution. That was just like all apology. It might work for some customers, but if I was your customer, it won't work for me because I feel like, okay, so what happened to my money? What happens to my money? Is that all? Like, you're sorry, and that is all, really. So for me, it doesn't really work. No matter how small the money is, no matter how small, I just feel like you should like pay respect to the money that was put into this thing. So even if you're sorry, try to want to make it. Let it not be me that will say, okay, you know what? Don't worry, don't worry about it. No, don't worry, it's fine, it's fine. I've had cases where I had said, it's fine, and then I let it slide. But at least you first have to show me that you're willing to bear the cost, because you know that this stuff costs me something, right? So when you try to take the blame to bear the cost, it makes me understand that you can understand the gravity of what I am losing by this mistake you just made. And so once you understand that, I think I'm fine. I don't say, don't worry, no problem, it's fine. I won't even probe for that for you too. So, but when you just sound like, when you try to make it look like it was nothing, you just try to make it look like, and get over it, how much is even the money? I'll not let you know that, please, you're not doing your job. You should be doing your job. Apologize properly. So for the money, I was like, oh sir, I will I was like, oh, sir, I will pay in the money very soon to your account. He was like, no, how much is it? I told him, like, no, why? No. Do you know the funny thing? He even gave me money on top of that. Yes, it was so funny that day. I was laughing. I'm like, wow. So now I think I've explained this enough to let you know that different apology languages will work for different people in different scenarios. There's no one size fits all apology. So first off, I think as an individual, we should learn how to speak all the apology languages. We should learn how to speak all of them, and then we can now determine where or who we want to speak this particular one to. Next one, number 4, genuinely expressing a desire to change your behavior. That is number 4. And let me just read what he wrote. This apology seeks to come up with a plan to keep the bad behavior from reoccurring. One man who lost his temper again said, I don't like this about me. This is not good. I know I did the same thing last week. This has got to stop. You deserve better than this. Can you help me think what I can do to make sure that this doesn't happen again? His desire for change communicates to his wife that he is sincerely apologizing. So, this apology language of genuinely expressing the desire to change your behavior is such that you let the person know, I do this often and I know it's bad. I'm so sorry. I actually want to change. What and what do you recommend? I think this kind of apology language comes in more of love relationships, because you're not about to go to somebody you don't know, like a store owner or like someone that you're patronizing, to have this kind of apology language, because the person doesn't even know you. So the person doesn't even know if you do it often or not, and the person doesn't even want to care if you're trying to change or not. So I think this kind of apology language will work for couples, parents and children kind of relationship, sister kind of relationship, like blood relations kind of relationship, because you have to be really close to someone for you to, express your desire to change your behavior, because it will require a level of humility for you to, and vulnerability as well, for you to acknowledge that I do this often, I know this is bad, and I really want to change. That's being vulnerable. You're not coming off as perfect to this person. So for you to be vulnerable, I want to believe it's someone you have spent time with, your trust is intact and everything. So yes, that's this kind of apology language. You have to be really close to the person. The last but not the least is number 5, requesting forgiveness. Now I will lay emphasis on this one, because people are always like, I've apologized to her already. If she doesn't want to get about it, I just forget it. I already said I'm sorry, and that should be fine. So I'm about to address that. So the noise just came up. Sorry if you hear the sound of the generator. I just hope it doesn't come in between this video. Let me try to close the window and see if it doesn't come into the video. I'll close the window, but if I do that, this whole setup, this whole background is also going to change. I hope you don't mind as well. Oops. So I have locked the window. The sound is still slight. I'm sorry. Please bear with me. We're about to get to the end of the video, so let's just manage. Requesting forgiveness. Will you please forgive me? These words are music to the ears of the person whose primary apology language is requesting forgiveness. In their mind, you're sincere. You will ask them to forgive you. This is what an apology is all about to them. I'm adding to them now. You have hurt them and they want to know, do you want to be forgiven? Do you want to remove the barrier that your behavior has caused? Requesting forgiveness is what touches their hearts and rings of sincerity. What Dr. Thomas and I discovered is that when couples learn how to apologize in a manner that is meaningful to the other person, they make forgiveness much easier. What most people want to know when you're attempting to apologize is, are you sincere? However, they judge your sincerity by whether or not you're speaking what to them is a genuine apology. That means you must learn to speak your apology in their primary apology language. When you do, they sense your real sincerity. Now, that is all for apology languages as contained in this book. Now, let me quickly explain a bit before we come to the end of this video. So, every person has the ability to apologize in the 5 apology languages. Every individual can do that. Every individual can do that. So there is no apology language you cannot speak. Yes, in as much as you have what you can understand faster from different people, from different classes of people, or from different people that have different relationships with you. I already explained that. Truth is that you can speak all of them. I noticed that what makes most people not speak some people's language is pride. So more like they're like, oh, it's not my fault, and I already said sorry. If that's not enough, then there's nothing I can do about it again. But there is everything you can do about it if you really want to make peace, right? And the Bible teaches us that if it is in your power to do peace, to make peace, please just make peace as long as it depends on you, okay, within your power. I know some people might be hard to please, so you apologize to some people and then it's not enough for them because they're proving hard to please. That's different. But when you have not done your parts, don't say you've done your best and there's nothing you can do about it again. That would be unfair. So with this book, I want us to learn that when you're saying you're sorry to somebody and the person is not listening, please try to know why. Try to know what they want you to do next. Try to know what it is that they want you to actually do. It might just be that your apology is just too simple. You might just want to say, I'm sorry, and then that's just it. You come to serve me something on my table and it spills on my dress and you say, I'm sorry. Is that all? No, it's not going to be nice. It's not going to be nice no matter what. For me, at that time, I expected to do was make restitution. So you spilled food on my dress. Please try to clean it. Okay, try to clean it. Maybe what do they call them? Waiter, waitress. Please bring towel. Try to wipe it off. Let it be me. And I'll say, okay, no, what? Don't worry. I'll just go back and then I'll change my dress and then I'll come back. Don't worry, thank you. I understand that was a mistake. No problem. I will be fine because you tried. So, but then you just say, oh, sorry, ma'am, sorry. And then you turn back. Really? So I'm saying when we want to apologize, let's do our best to apologize. Let's be humble enough. At that time, forget anything. Don't try to push blame. Don't try to say I apologize but one way because we both were involved in this. Please just take responsibility for the part that you feel like you were involved in. Take your own responsibility. Apology time and time to point fingers and now say, okay, I apologize to you, but you too, you did this thing too. Also apologize to me. No, that is not the time for apology. Apology time is the time for you to say, I acknowledge I did this and it wasn't fine, and take responsibility. So quickly, let me just a recap of all the points I've made in this video before we come to the end of this video. So I said earlier that there are different categories of people whose apology language would differ to you as a person. So truth is, you might understand the 5 apology languages. Okay, let me just be practical with myself. Let me see, among all these apology languages, which one doesn't resonate with me the most? Which one is it that if you do for me, it's never going to work? Even if you're a child, an adult, a partner, a co-worker, in office. Let's see, which one will never, ever, ever resonate with me? So I want to point out the one that doesn't really matter to me. That doesn't really matter. Okay, for me, it is requesting forgiveness, and that is because most times I already forgive you in advance. Even for the people that I said, in terms of rendering service, and I expect them to make restitution. Truth is, I already forgave them in advance. So the thing that I just want them to just acknowledge. I don't want to look like you don't even know the gravity of what you did. When you apologize to me in the way that I want, it just simply communicates to me that you understand the gravity of what you did. You understand what it costing me, and you want to say you're sorry for that. That's just what it communicates to me, basically. It's not like I did not forgive you. I already even did forgive you before you even apologized. Right? I already did forgive. So I just want to know, should I take the next action in line with what you did, or should I let it go? Right? That's basically what I want to do. So your apology will determine which one I do. So more like, if you do not now do what I expect you to do, I will now bring it to your notice. Why did you do it this way? I expected you to do this thing this way, and this is how it came out. So for me, the one that I least resonate with, the one that doesn't really matter to me, is requesting forgiveness. Most times I already forgive you in advance, even before your apology comes to me. That is the truth. So but your apology will help do something to me. It will help me know what next to do after I've forgiven you. So I can forgive you and choose to just move on and choose not to allow you to be in my space again. Not that I'm quarreling, but I just feel like you might not be who I think you are. You might not be safe having you around me. And so I kind of distance myself and just let it go, and then I forget about you. So I've forgiven you and forgotten it, even without your apology. So most times I already forgive without apology, because I have to pray, I have to read the Bible, I have to talk to God, right? And so holding a grudge in my mind will not allow me to do that successfully. So just know that whatsoever annoys me or gets me pissed off, I most likely forgive them before 24 hours. But your apology will only help me now know what next to do about your matter. So if you apologize in a way that I understand, okay, this was really a mistake, a genuine mistake. You did not mean whatever had happened, and I can of course let it go and we'll come back to being normal. But if you do not apologize at all, and I just have to bring myself to the point of forgiveness, I might also tell myself that this person might not be who I think this person is. I think I should just let this person go for now until further notice. So what your apology does, it just gives me what next to do, basically. But in the matter of forgiveness, I already did forgive. And let me also put it out here that don't think that forgiving does not mean that there won't be repercussions. There will be repercussions. And that's what the apology helps to do. It helps to override the repercussions. It takes repercussions out of the way. That's what Jesus did when he came to die for us. He made God forgive us, such that we are not even seeing the repercussions of our sins, because he already took away the sin. So forgiving you does not override the repercussion. It is your apology that will now override the repercussion, and that is in my case. I don't know for other persons. I'm talking about in my case. So it is your apology that will now say, okay, you know what, Esther, let this thing go. This is not what it really is. This is what it is. So the one I would say that doesn't resonate with me the most is requesting forgiveness. I already did forgive you. You don't need to beg. I'm not so hard to please. I can't be begging. No. I already did forgive you. Now the one that you must do to me is to explain to me, please, why whatever happened. You need to fill me in, because most times I don't know where it's coming from. So I want to know, how did you get here? How did this happen? Where did it come from? What do you think might have caused this? Okay, what should we do so that this doesn't repeat itself a second time? So my best apology language will be making restitution. Is it making restitutions? It's not making restitutions. I think that is that's what I just described about explaining falls into accepting responsibility. Perfect. Accepting responsibility. Perfect. So when you're trying to throw the responsibility to me, make it feel like it's a two-sided thing, that's now when I feel manipulated. Is that the word? I feel like I know you're sorry, but why are you pushing blames? It might be my fault at that time, but when you apologize to me, please let it be your fault first. After the apology I've gotten over, you can later come and tell me that, you know, I did this, and then I also apologize. But at the point of the apology, don't put it to me that it was my fault and your fault. Just be responsible by yourself first. Later, let me know that it was also my fault, and I will also apologize as well. Well, that's the end of today's video. Sorry about the noise. Next video will be better. And if you have read this book, please let me know. If you have read any of Gary Chapman's book, please let me know. If you're just hearing about the 5 love languages for the first time in this video, also let me know in the comments. If this apology language really resonates with you, like you really understand what I am saying, and you know you're glad that somebody finally came to speak about it, please let me know as well. And please, if you're not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to my channel, join the family. I'll come and be sharing all that I am learning in different sectors of life. As long as I am learning something I have learned, I will definitely come here and share it. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.